Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 27th of February. I'm going to give you some standout details to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then go through each of the 12 signs from Aries through to Pisces, which you can relate to in terms of your sun or your ascendant. The choice is yours. Now, as this week begins, there is a magnificent conjunction between Venus and Jupiter, and it is also going to get a lot of comment. And rightly, these are the two planets of the two benefics in traditional astrology: lesser Venus, greater Jupiter. Venus is Jupiter's daughter in mythology. But in the sign of Aries, of course, Venus is technically detrimented. But I think what Venus does is just gives us in Aries a greater desire to go for what we want, the things that we're passionate about. So Jupiter, of course, can also be very dynamic in Aries. So that's all a lot to do with thrust, and it could create, by being in the moment and having the confidence to listen to our instincts, which is a very Aries type of energy, some good fortune could unfold. But there is also a quarter moon on Monday in the sign of Gemini, and that's house 3. The sun is in house 12. A third house 12 house square suggests that if we're a little bit too open with information, especially to people we don't know very well, or we let something slip that should be kept in confidence, or we get caught up in some gossip doing the rounds, it's not necessarily going to be a good thing. Also, Venus and Jupiter could make us a little bit too open, a bit too spontaneous. So I think it's important to measure what we say in a careful way. And this is emphasized furthermore because by the middle of the week, Mercury comes into a very powerful conjunction with Saturn. And of course, Mercury is exalted in the sign of Aquarius, and Saturn is about to say au revoir to this sign and move into the sign of Pisces. So they're both about to move because Mercury moves on Thursday into Pisces, where of course it's also detrimented. But this just suggests that when it comes to long-term plans or our friendships, the need to really be clear about what we want and what we say is going to be absolutely essential. If you're not quite sure about a situation, something could seem rather oppressive. Maybe it's someone's point of view. Maybe someone can seem a little bit dour or limited in their response. But I take you back to that quarter moon because that provides the backdrop of energy for the whole of this week. And that's suggesting that we don't buy in too much to some of the negativity that might be doing the rounds, and we embrace some of the positivity that we can get from Venus's conjunction with Jupiter, which itself will come into a peak on the 2nd of March. So a lot of exciting possibilities this week, but please stay with me for your full sun sign forecast. But if you would like to grow beyond this zodiac insight, if you give me 3 pieces of your personal birth data, of time, date and place of birth, I can provide you with a life roadmap that can give you an awful amount of extra information to help guide your moves. You can become much more intimately aware of some of the patterns which have repeated themselves in your life, the more challenging ones and the more positive ones. Also, in my special package of 30% off, you can get your 12-month personal forecast. Now, these reports are totally unique to each person I produce them for, so they give you an opportunity to gain searing insights above just zodiac horoscopes. So Scorpio, your week commencing the 27th of February forecast has some various themes threaded through it. What I like is the sun's in a semi-sextile with Venus and Jupiter, and the sun's in house 5. Your passion and enthusiasm could impress someone if you have an interview, or just your generosity of spirit could help someone out by doing something practically but imaginatively, which, really can go down well. The downside, Mercury's alignment with Saturn. If you're not quite so happy with a situation in your world, you could look at it in a glass half empty way when that occurs on Wednesday and Thursday. The good news, however, is that Mercury then moves later on Thursday into your fifth house, and even something that seemed a bit more serious and a bit more limiting and a bit more frustrating can seem lighter the following day, and your sense of humour can start to sparkle. Now, the quarter moon, which occurs at the start of the week, that could bring up some issues around your love life. Perhaps it's maybe just in general to do with finance, because that's in house 8. If you're really putting everything into what you're doing and you're seeing very modest returns, that could create a sense of frustration, which then is fed by Mercury's somber link with Saturn. But keep the faith, because I feel that if you keep showing people what you're prepared to do and how you're able to do things in a very giving and productive way, by the end of this week, I feel things just will seem a lot lighter all round. It's been a pleasure being with you. Please comment if you'd like and subscribe. Thank you.